Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about a very dangerous and growing cyber threat known as the ransomware. Now, what exactly is ransomware? In simple terms, ransomware is a type of malicious software that takes controls of your file or an entire system and that demands that you pay a money, usually in cryptocurrency, in order to get your access back. So essentially, the attacker is holding your data hostage and is asking for a ransom to restore your access. So, for example, let's say you have your audios and videos and important files in your computer, and it's all encrypted, and you get a password, but it's not created by you; it's created by the attacker. So you don't know the password. So in order to decrypt the file, so you'll get a pop-up message saying that you have to pay a 50K or a 1 lakh in ransom within 72 hours in order to get access back. And this amount which you pay is called as ransom, and the access which you get is after decryption is called as restoring. So, why is this such an important topic? Because ransomware has grown into one of the most destructive cyber threats in the recent years. It doesn't just target individuals, it has brought down hospitals, schools, corporations, and even critical infrastructures like pipelines and government offices. In fact, the financial and social cost of ransomware runs into billions of dollars every year. So, in this session, I'll walk you through how ransomware works, some famous real world cases, the role of networks and cryptography in making ransomware effective, and finally, what can be done to prevent or minimize its damage. So, let's begin by understanding how ransomware actually works. The attack usually starts with an infection. Most often, ransomware enters the system through phishing emails. Those are emails that look legitimate but contain malicious attachments or links. When someone clicks on the link or downloads the attachment, the ransomware quietly installs itself on the computer. Other methods include exploiting software vulnerabilities, downloading files from the untrusted websites, or even plugging in the infected USB drives. So once inside, the ransomware executes its main job, which is encryption. Now think of an encryption like putting all your important files inside a locked safe. But here's the trick. You don't have the key. The attacker does. Using strong and cryptography algorithms, ransomware scrambles all your data, your documents, images, spreadsheets, so that you can't open them anymore. After the files are locked, the ransomware displays a ransom note on your screen. This note usually says something like your files are encrypted. To get them back, you must pay us in a Bitcoin within a certain period of time. Otherwise, your data will be permanently lost. This is why it's called as ransomware. So the attackers are demanding ransom for the data restoration. And many modern attacks, hackers don't stop with encryption. They also steal a copy of your data and threaten to leak it publicly if you refuse to pay. So, this double extortion strategy makes the situation even worse, especially for organizations that handle sensitive data. So now let's look into some real world examples. So the earliest known case was way back in 1989 called the eight star jar. So it was distributed using floppy disks and demanded payment to unlock the file. Fast forward to 2013, there was a crypto locker which spread through phishing emails and demanded ransom in Bitcoin. It was one of the first large scale ransomware attacks that really showed how profitable this could be for the criminals. In 2017, the world witnessed one of the most famous ransomware attacks, WannaCry. It spread like wildfire across more than 150 countries, shutting down hospitals, banks, and business. It exploited a vulnerability in Windows that actually had a patch available. But many organizations didn't update their system in time. So this attack is estimated to have caused losses of over $4 billion. Then in 2021, the Colonial Pipeline attack in the United States showed just how dangerous ransomware can be for critical infrastructures. So the company, which supplies fuel for a large part of the East Coast, had to shut down operations completely. This caused panic buying at gas stations, and eventually the company paid $4.4 million to the attackers. And sometimes ransomware can even end companies. A recent example is KMP Logistics, a 158-year-old transport company in the UK that was forced to close down because of one of the ransomware incidents caused by a weak password. So that shows us that no matter how big or old the organization is, ransomware can bring it down everything. So now let's link this to the subject of network and cryptography. Ransomware doesn't just stay confined to the infected machine. Once it's inside a network, it can spread laterally. This means it looks for a shared drives, connected devices, and even cloud storage, and encrypts everything it can reach. So that's why organizations often find entire departments or offices logged out at once. So from the cryptography perspective, ransomware relies on strong encryption techniques. Usually, it uses a combination of symmetric encryption for speed and asymmetric encryption for secure key exchange. In simple terms, attackers generate a public-private key pair. They use the public key to lock your file, but only their private key can unlock them. And since that private key never leaves the attacker's control, victims are forced to pay if they want the decryption key. This is the perfect example of how cryptography, which is meant to protect us, is being misused by the attackers to harm us. So, what can can we do about it? Unfortunately, there is no magic cure about once ransomware enters your file, but there are strong defenses we can use. First, prevention is the key. Always keep your operation system and applications updated because many attacks exploit old vulnerabilities. Second, train users to identify the phishing emails and suspicious links because human error is the easiest way in. Third, use a strong security solutions like firewall, endpoint protection, and intrusion detection systems. So, most importantly, always maintain regular backups of your data. And these backups should be offline or stored in a way that the ransomware cannot reach them. The way, even if you get hit, you can restore your files without paying ransom. And when it comes to response, organizations should have a well documented incident response plan. The general advice from law enforcement is not to pay the ransom because there is no guarantee you'll get your files back. And paying example here is the Nordic Hydro, a company in Norway that was hit by ransomware but refused to pay. They rebuilt their systems from backups and gained a lot of respect from standing strong against the attackers. To wrap it up, ransomware is one of the most dangerous cyber threats we face today. It uses the power of networks to spread rapidly and the strength of cryptography to lock the victims out of their own data. Through the real world cases, we have seen how devastating it can be from the small business to global infrastructures. So the key takeaway is awareness, prevention, and preparation are our best defenses. We cannot completely eliminate the threat, but we can reduce the impact and protect our data and the system by being vigilant. Thank you.